Cody Collier, how are you, brother? Hey,
Doing
thank
great,
you
Leonard.
for joining me for the round number 12.
11. 11.
That's 11, the Mountaineer. Yeah, because there's 13. Sorry, I just was writing down number 12 because I started to do the pre-portion that I write up on all the sheets that we keep for all the race reports. But, sorry about that.
No, easy crossed up.
How was the Mountaineer for you?
It was pretty good for me. Like we talked about in the pre-race report, super, super dusty. I don't think it was as bad as last year, but it wasn't a whole lot better.
The contradiction here for me, and please clarify for everybody that listens, I watch the videos and I see mud-caked riders in all levels.
Yeah, so they had some type of water runoff from one of the top of their hills. I don't know if it was a spring or if they left water running to try to keep a couple sections drier. But there was 6 or 7 sections on the track that had some water and mud that you just had to go through.
And it was bad enough that it coated those machines with mud.
Yeah, because it was constant water flow. So pretty much no matter what, there was water there whenever you went to come through.
Okay.
There was that. Then there's a couple of creek crossings. They weren't really too bad at all from where it was so dry there. The creek crossings had no water to them. They were a little bit soft, but that was about it. But yeah, other than that, the 95% of the track, 98% of the track was just dust.
And that didn't help with any of the dust at all then?
Yeah. No, it helped where that water was. But other than that, the rest of the track was brutal.
Well, it seemed like it didn't affect you that bad. But before we get into talking about your guys is in the AM race, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the AM class. The YXC1 Super Mini Senior. These guys have a fierce battle going on. They're only separated by 2 points for the top 3 riders. I know that you've told me about the throwouts and how many there are. But these guys are in a fierce battle. Kole Brandt is in 3rd in points, and he won the last one. Bodie's only won 1, and Owens has won 4, but he's still got the top spot. How do you see these kids, breaking in? And unfortunately, I would say Jacob Smallwood would be right in there with him, but he had a DNF the last round.
Yeah, Jake had a weird medical emergency, so they had to get that taken care of. So, he had some type of medical emergency and had to go to the local hospital. They had to life flight him to another hospital. So, I heard Jake's all right. He had surgery on it, and he's doing better. So, hope Jake gets better, but that's very unfortunate because he was in the title fight. And then, your top 3 riders, like you're saying, Stetson, Kole, and Bodie are in a good battle. And it looked like Bodie and Kole got out to a good start, and Stetson was a little bit back, and I had to go get ready for my race, and it looked like Kole was able to hang on to it this time.
Right. Because Brandt won it with Owens getting 2nd and Bodie getting 3rd. I think Bodie's got the most consistent run across the board because he just doesn't have any really big drops back in the back. Most of them are, his worst one is 8th, but everything else in a 6th, everything else is on the podium or right next to the podium.
Yeah, and that's what makes it tough whenever the more drops you have, the more the consistency of being a 3rd, 4th place rider hurts, other than being a guy that will win or have a bad ride here and there.
Right. I feel bad. I want all the kids to win, but unfortunately they can't. Jacob Smallwood, the big shout out to everybody. Make sure you reach out, find out if he's okay. If you can, get some word back to us. I think I know his dad. I'm probably going to reach out to him next week and give a call and make sure that everything's okay. But just incredible class down there. I keep telling you that the XC2 class is the most competitive, But those kids, man, those guys are on fire. I can't wait to watch one of those races.
Yeah, like we've talked about before, those kids have a lot of raw talent, but it isn't quite honed in yet. So they get a little sendy out there. They're a lot of fun to watch, and boys and girls are fast out there.
That's awesome, awesome stuff. Let's roll right into the morning race and talk a little bit about, the pro 4x4 class. It seems to me that Brandon Frazier in the videos looked like he was having an incredible day chasing you. And then all of a sudden, nothing. You have any word on that?
Yeah. No, being Frazier on the start, and Frazier ended up false starting. I peeked over at him whenever I heard that false start, and then I peeked back over, and everybody else had taken off on me. So me and Frazier were last and second to last going to the woods, and I was able to pick through the pack pretty easy early on. I ended up getting from 8th to 1st in like half a lap. Just from, riding the track for years, memorizing the track, and having all those lines figured out, I was able to pick through pretty easy. And a lot of the guys were pretty nice to me. I'd show them a wheel and they'd let me go. But ended up getting the lead on that first lap. I had over a minute lead by the end of the first lap. It took me to like 5 or 6 to get the lead. Put in a good sprint speed early. I ended up getting over a minute. Kind of held that pace the second lap, ended up kind of extending it. And then we started getting into some lappers, and it was a 5-lap race. It was just the lappers were rough. I had some good lappers, had some bad lappers. But Frazier was putting in a really good pace. He ended up getting pretty close to me there at the end of the race. And he ended up misjudging something or catching something, and I guess he wrecked out.
Okay, that explains. I think he wrecked and tried to continue and then couldn't, is what I'm gathering, but I don't have all the facts. Getting information out of that camp is difficult sometimes. I send messages and I get no response. But Dayton Hickey, he had a great ride. He's been close to the podium and on the podium a couple times during the year, but not really a mainstay. But he had a great ride. He took the 3rd spot. Wharff was in the 2nd spot, and Wharff wasn't that far behind, but he had a good run there and seems to be leaping into that next role where he's going to be the guy that's going to run with you and Frazier if Frazier comes back in 26.
Yeah, no, Kaden's kind of seemed to be the best of the rest and seems to be that 3rd place guy pretty consistently. He needs to step it up. I think I got him by 3 or 4 minutes. So, me and Kaden are good buddies. I'm just giving him some stuff. But no, he's figuring it out. We'll see how he develops. But the boys got to pick it up. Then Dayton's one of my members of Team Wheel Drive for the 10 to 9 hour. Me and Dayton are good friends too. So really good to see him put in a good ride and get 3rd. And then Gavin Jenkins was actually in that 4th place spot before Frazier had his issue where he would have got that 3rd place spot, but a little over halfway through the race on a downhill lapper ended up coming out of the split line and clipping his rear end and endoed Gavin.
Oh.
So it wrecked him out of the race.
Man, that had to hurt for Gavin because he needed those points. Walraven.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, super solid. The Mud Raven. Yeah, he's a longtime sport quad guy like a lot of us. He raced the XC2 class for a couple of years, and I heard rumors over the offseason that he's going to try his hand in the 4x4 class. Tried it a couple locals over the offseason, didn't really jive with it, or something wasn't clicking for him. He raced a couple XC2 races at the start of the year, and before summer break, it looks like he's decided to go full-time in the 4x4 thing. And he has some good pace. He's been top 5 guy for sure.
Well, he got 2 9ths, a 6th, and a 4th in the 4 races he's been in, and we'll see if he's going to keep that pace up. Look out, he's going to be rolling into that top 5, top 3 spots. Wharff and Hickey and Jenkins better look out. Because he's coming, and Mickelson's no slouch. He just doesn't seem to have the same consistency.
Yeah, it seems like Mickelson's dropped off this year. Don't know what's going on over in his camp, but yeah, Mickelson's been that number 3 guy, the number 4 guy for a long time. So I don't know what's going on there. Don't know if the boys are stepping up around them or what's going on.
Right. So we'll keep posted on that one, because I do not believe second place is clinched in that class, in your class, the Pro 4x4 class, because Wharff is still close enough to make a move if possible.
He needs some help, but Brandon's a good bit out on that second place spot. He needs a little help.
Right. If you look at your guys' class in the last 4 years, you and Frazier have been dominating the 1-2 spot, and that third is always changing a little bit. But we'll see how it works out this year, and keep a watch on it. I think there's some good competition rolling in there for you. It may take a few races into 26 for some of them get that a little seasoned and can show some competition. But you give them a chance to get out front, and you may have some trouble.
Yeah, no, bring it on, boys. I'm waiting for you.
Awesome. Hey, big hats off to Chloe Harper winning her first WXC. And she did it in stellar fashion so far this year. She has 7 wins, pretty dominant. I didn't expect her to come out in this round and dominate the way she did. It looks to me like she took control right off the bat and never relinquished it. Elioff tried to make a race of it, but it didn't seem like there was anybody that was going to challenge Chloe. And she locked it in and then gave her the number 1 plate.
Yeah, no, great year for Chloe. 7 of 11 so far is really, really impressive. So, yeah, shout out to her whole camp. Got good people around her, parents, Trent and Liz. She came really close to one last year. She started racking off wins at the end of the last year. I think she had at least the last 4 wins, if not the last 5 or 6 at the end of the year.
Was the last 4?
Yeah. So she was really putting on a heater at the end of the year last year, and was putting everybody on notice that she was coming this year. And yeah, 7 out of 11, and her first of hopefully many WXC titles. It seemed like the only person that could even be in her ballpark this year was Hannah Hunter when she was on, but Hannah had to bring her A game to be there for her. So other than that, looks like Chloe's pretty much walked away with almost every race, and see who wants to step up and stop her.
Speaking of Hannah, she got 6th, uncharacteristical for her to be that far back in the field. Really, that's the worst finish she's had all year. Did you get any intel on that by chance?
I did not. It's harder with the WXC because I'm not out there, but I talked to a lot of the 4x4 pro guys on and off the track. So get a lot of the 4x4 stories, don't get all of the WXC stories.
Well, Avery Collins dropped in for the 3rd spot, which she's been really consistent for that young lady. I think that, you could see the future of the class coming in right there. And she's fast. Andrea Rogers is finally starting to get things rolling for herself. Caitlin Osborne is still really consistent, 5, 6, 4, 3, in those ranges. She pulled off a 5 this time. Not sure what went on with Caitlin, but I think she's still a great competitor. She may still have some good fire left. Maybe she's going to come back in 26 and put in a better ride and, take a top spot. I believe she's still riding a Honda. Yep, she's still riding a Honda.
Yep, yeah, she's on that JMR Honda. It's got a solid bike. They know what's going on with it. She's been riding it for years now, so very comfortable on the setup. But yeah, she's the vet of the class now. Definitely shows it in the mud races. She seems to be one of, if not the best mud racer in the class. And it just makes it tough when everybody else is also trying to push that pace.
Yeah, they that group of gals, the 5, 6, 7 of them there that show up every race and battle it out. Avery Collins has got a fire. Hannah Hunter's got a fire. Elioff is just got to be seething, winning 3 in a row. And then, the only race she's won so far in 25 was the first round. Been on the podium multiple times in 2nd or 3rd, but just doesn't seem to be her year. None of the breaks are going her way like they did in 24. where it just seemed like she was just unbeatable. But man, this year it's been really tough to take them away from Chloe. So we'll see how the 26 season rolls in with some competitors that are going to challenge her. I'm thinking they are, because Hannah's just getting better and she's still really young too. As far as in her mid-20s, strong, fast. With a boyfriend in the pro class, that helps her train and get faster as well.
Yeah. No, her and Steven got a good thing going on. I think that's done only good things for Hannah's program. So
yeah, I see it that way as well.
Yeah, Hannah's multi-time champ as well. I think she won three or four before Jess won those last three.
Yeah, she was a 3-time champ. Then Jessica came in and became a 3-time champ, and then now Chloe's got the reins, and we'll see how many she can pull off, if she can pull them off. She seems pretty motivated. She's got a great camp behind her too, and a family that just loves it. So the excitement's there for them.
Yeah, no, it's hopefully they stay hungry and keep doing the things they're doing and don't get lazy, and they'll keep coming.
Right on. So let's get into the XC2 class. The top 3 in points, or the top 4 in points, seem to just kept it going with those guys, taking control of the race, running 1, 2, 3, 4. Other than we swapped the 1 and 2 spots. We don't talk about Henderson very often, but he's worked his way into 4th in points. I'm not real deep on him, so you're going to have to tell us about Keaton and let us know what his program is all about.
Yeah, no, they're good people. Michelle and Brian, though they're great people. They've been around for a long time. They've been doing the series about as long as I can remember. They've been racing it. He's ran junior A, I think last year, trying to really get his form figured out before they went to XC2. And no, last year was his first year XC2. I'm sorry. They ran college A for a while, and they did make the jump straight to XC2. And he had speed. I think he got a podium last year and a couple of top 5s, and just didn't really go his way as far as the consistency. And that's what he's worked on this year. I don't believe he's had a podium so far this year, but he's been a lot more consistent. And that's how he finds himself in 4th.
Yeah, he's been inside the top 10, best finished 4th multiple times, staying right in there, keeping the fight, not letting him get away, but not fast enough to jump inside the reins. Jeremiah Wolf, this is the guy that I'm really watching, because he's either really fast or not. No, I can't get a gauge on him. He's got 3 finishes, top 10 or worse, that I'm not understanding if it's, putting together the ride, not liking the track, what it is. But when he's fast, he's fast.
He's had a few mechanicals this year, and I think he wrecked out of 1 race. So, yeah, kid's got a lot of talent. That's he's the one that runs the Ken to 9 hour by himself, 9 hours of Jimmy. He's got a lot of bike skill. It's just putting the pieces together. He's young in the class. It's his first year in the class. So I think he'll figure it out in the next couple of years. I think he'll be a guy contending for race wins. I mean, potentially next year with Thieman moving up, and don't know what Grosse is going to do, but I wouldn't be too shocked if Grosse made the jump up as well. I could see him wanting to stay back for XC2 championship, but being one of the guys out on the West Coast, I could see him just wanting to go for it.
But he's young.
For sure. So, I don't. I'm just speculating here. I could see him going either way next year. Him realizing that Thieman's moving up and he's not going to have a lot of competition, or just, going where he feels that he's going to get some good racing.
There's rumors in the rumor mill, and I do know the family, but I have not asked directly. I'll probably try to get Braxton on to ask, his opinion of it and go from there. But big rumor is he's moving back east to make sure that he can put his roots down and race back there. And there's a semi rumor that he could end up on a Yamaha soon. So I don't know if that would help him or hurt him because he is the last guy. Or I would say there's a guy on a Can-Am and a couple guys. There's a guy on a Husqvarna, another guy on a Honda, and then there's 3 Hondas in the class, and he's on one of them. So,
yeah, I imagine the Can-Am is Dylan Walraven, where he's racing the Can-Am now, and then the Husqvarna guy probably raced a dirt bike. The last time he raced was on a dirt bike on a Sunday.
yes,
That's probably how you get those two. So it's probably 2 people on Hondas and everybody else on Yamahas.
there's actually 3 people on Hondas.
Okay, we'll give it to them. Well, let's say 4. Let's say 4 of them. But yeah, no. So the thing with the XC1 class is that the thing with the XC1 class that they have a production rule. So once the machine hasn't been produced in the last 10 years, you cannot run it in the XC1 class.
And that's horrible.
Essentially means, well, it was really good whenever all the manufacturers were keeping up with it. And yeah, I don't know exactly what I don't know exactly what would be a really good rule or not, but that's just the rule that we've always followed. And with Yamaha being the last production bike, and they do put a lot into the sport, they do support the riders pretty well on the XC side, and they don't have to. So,
right.
But yeah, Yamaha does, I think, a really good job for their position, taking care of the riders. They can always do better, always do worse, whatever. But yeah, that's just the rule. So that you can't run Suzuki anymore in the XC1 class, can't run the Can-Am or the KTM or any of it.
Can't run the Honda either. Well, yeah,
this is the last year of the Honda because they had like a 15 model that they did like a limited amount of. So this was the last season for the Honda.
Really?
Yep. Unless they get that rule changed, which, they have the pro riders meeting. I'm sorry, go ahead, Leonard.
Adam McGill and McClure going to retire?
So I'm sure it'll get brought up at the pro riders meeting, seeing what they want to do about the production rule, because I'm sure, guys like McClure and McGill and possibly Grosse, people that do want to step on into the XC1 class on a Honda, you just can't because it's no longer production. So this would, they just bring it up in the pro rider meeting at the end of the year and have a conversation about it. And GNCC is understanding that, yeah.
Let's hold that conversation for a few minutes, and we'll have it after we talk about the Grosse Thieman battle, because they both have 5 wins. Okay. And the points battle for them is still very much alive. You're talking, it shows on here that there's 285 to 266 because Grosse has 2 9th place finishes to drop. Thieman's dropping a 3 and a 4.
Yeah, that's a big point swing. And I think they do like a 25-point scale for the XC2 class. I don't think they do the full 30-point scale, but it does make a difference getting those wins, getting those podium positions as far as bonus points go.
Well, they are in a fierce battle based on the throwouts. I believe there's 2 in that class.
Yes, 2.
Okay, so I didn't do the math. I probably should have before, and then I would have known. I can get the scale and know exactly where they were. But with 2 rounds to go, we'll see that class is going to go down to the wire. I think Braxton is going to do everything he can to stay in front of Alex. But Alex is just, from what I hear from the Grosse camp, is just such a phenomenally talented rider that, beating him is something that is unexpected some days. You're just not gonna catch that kid because he's just super talented.
Yeah.
Did I take the words out of your mouth?
No, it's tough. It's a lot of camps think that about their rider. I'm sure everyone on that XC1 line that you take them out to their private track and watch them ride, they're like, there's no way in the world that anybody can beat my guy. And then Bryson Neal shows up, right?
Right.
So it's just fun. It's just funny. It's both are super, super talented. They both got their strengths. Grosse excels at the more open, flowy tracks, and Thieman excels at the really tight, really technical stuff. They both kind of got their riding styles, and it's funny how that plays out 50-50 so far on the years with 5 wins apiece.
That's unbelievable how close that really is if we do the math and just score what they have there for the 9 races, or just to drop one, how close it really gets. Unreal. I mean, it's good stuff. It's a little stressful, but it's good stuff. Now let's finish our conversation. So we go to XC1. It's production only. They're probably going to do something for the 2 people that ride Hondas at this moment. What do you think could happen if they brought hybrids in? From mostly what I'm seeing, hybrids are going to cost money. I don't think they're necessarily going to make a difference in the results in the class. That Yamaha platform is a really, really good machine. Yamaha's done a great job with it. And in the motocross stuff, the hybrids don't seem to be that much better, if better at all.
I think it's really cool that you have the option to have a private manufacturer produce an ATV, and have those custom frames, where like the Walshes of the world and all that, where that you can produce your own frame and just have a couple of them made because it's really, specialty stuff, and see if it can go compete and see if you can, evolve the game with some of the changes you've made, make Yamaha do better.
Yeah, but do you think because Yamaha is the only sport quad that they're going to do better?
No, I think, like you said, Yamaha's a really good platform, and you really have to put something together that's really good to compete with it.
Let me ask you this question, because you're a former sport quad guy that still rides a sport quad. You have some skill set in that class. How hard is it going to be for a Honda or a Kawasaki or a Suzuki to drop a machine into this group, into this machine that's been built for all these years to compete at that level?
I mean, I don't think it would really be that crazy hard. I mean, you just got to work on your geometry a little bit. There's so many aftermarket parts, and so much knowledge around what makes good geometry. So I just start with some good concepts and put it together.
Okay.
Like the
I think it's been way more harder than that, because you have a machine that's so durable, so reliable. One of the biggest problems with the Honda is the transmission. You have an issue with the tranny there. The Kawasaki never lived long enough to make it super competitive because it didn't make enough power. I don't even know if they ever raced them in the GNCC because I wasn't paying attention at that point.
Not so much. But like the thing with the Honda is that they had multiple models and still kept dropping the same motor. They never wanted to fix that transmission. They easily could have. And a lot of aftermarket companies built stronger springs and stronger shifting forks and stronger gears for your transmission. And if you race the Honda, you kind of know that you immediately have to put those things in. So a lot of people improve that off the shelf instantly. And that's one thing about the production bike, a hybrid is expensive, but you're not buying a bunch of stock parts that you're just going to put on eBay anyways.
Yeah, they say those CRF transmissions are really durable. The motocross guys, in some of the classes will run that engine without even taking it apart all year.
Yeah, no, and that's the way the Yamaha motor is. Like, I think I have 400 hard hours on a bone stock YFZ and never stock clutches and everything. Never split the cases.
That's crazy.
Hard hours when I was an XC2, just beating on that thing, just trying to break it, trying to figure out how to go fast, So, and that Yamaha motor took it. I never split the cases, oil change, max every 4 hours, and just did the oil changes. That was it. Did coolant changes and oil changes, and that motor was great. And never had, so like that's hard to compete with, right? So the Yamaha does have a really good platform. You'd have to see its shortcomings and just how to do things better. What's the next steps? So I think the geometry is really good, but people instantly put on the Honda LTR hubs on there. It's better leverage points and it's more square. It doesn't get so much leverage on the center of your wheels, right? So just seeing the shortcomings of the Yamaha and making the next step.
Well, we might get to see it. We might not. I think that there's going to be some changes in the motocross series because they're going to have to do something to make it more cost efficient, $10,000 race motors and having to spend all the money on the chassis and the ECU tuning, this dual injector stuff. They're going to have to do something different to make that a more competitive financial industry or sport for motocross, because it's not cost efficient right now to race it.
No, I think it's really cool that that's the direction the sport is going. We just need to get some outside sponsors in and helping us, making that possible for the riders, get some teams involved and making that possible, so we can have the best equipment and stuff possible, have the best racing possible.
Right. I agree. Let's get into XC1, because this is the class we were talking about with the rules. We had a new winner, so that means we have 4 guys that have won in the class. We had a big point shakeup from second position to fourth. We could have more people passing. We had a no-show with Walker Fowler. We hope he's okay. We don't exactly know everything that's going on. We did see a social media post. Hopefully he's going to be back at the next round, and we'll go from there. But that did do a little bit of a shakeup in the order. But I want to talk about this guy first, and then you can chime in. Josh Merritt, I've always thought this kid is super talented. I call him a kid. He's a grown man. He's in his late 20s, I think, early 30s. Getting close to probably thinking that maybe this is the end of his career. But the ride he put on at the Mountaineer means that he should stay in the class, because from what I've heard through the grapevine, what I've watched, I know Bryson Neal was just there to clinch his title. But then again, was he? The guy's got a huge competitive streak. He never wants to get beat. And Josh Merritt almost beat him at the round before, and then comes back and backs it up with a win. And it wasn't just a win, it was a dominant win. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Josh put in a great ride. He executed. He knew that the start was going to be huge. He ripped the fat hole shot and never looked back, right? That's the ride dreams were made of right there. So first one on the year, and can lick his lips at that number 2 spot, the number 2 plate. So, yeah, did exactly what he needed to, right? And I don't know how much help he got from lappers last couple of laps, messing with him and making him lose time. But Jared McClure, somebody we haven't seen on the box in a long time, was just riding the dust wall. I think if it wasn't so dusty, I think Jared could have put his hand in the battle for the win. And then Bryson Neal was there too, riding through the dust wall, picking from way back in the packet and all the way up right to the rear of Jared. So I think without the dust and him trying to wrap up the championship early and him not having the taking more calculated risks and not going as send, I don't think so.
Well, you got to race the conditions. This is what you've taught me about XC. It's whatever it is what it is. And mud might be better for some of these guys, but the dust isn't. And Merritt handled the dust and did exactly what he needed to. Bryson Neal's a smart cookie. And I think he knew what the points were, how it all broke down, where he is and who was where. And when Fowler wasn't there, he knew he only had to do so much to lock it in. And I'm not saying that he didn't want to win. I'm just saying that maybe he didn't take some of the chances like he will next round or the round after, because he has nothing to lose but victories, because he can just add to his historical stats after this. We're stepping right over Hunter Hart. He ended up getting a 9th, moved himself into 2nd in points, tied with Merritt. I've heard some rumor mills that, Hunter's got to get his program back together, even in 2nd points or coming in 2nd for the year. That doesn't mean that we could see him in 26. There's some rumors going around about that. Not sure what's happening. Can't seem to get a lock on information. They like to keep doing it through their social media instead of sitting down and talking with us. So we'll see where that goes. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
I know Hunter's got a really good following on social media, so yeah, I'm sure he wants to make, they want to take care of that themselves. But I mean, he's got really supportive parents in Hunter and Jeff and Amy. And if Hunter wants to keep racing, even if some of the support drops off, I imagine that they would be, likely to help, but that doesn't mean that they will, right? So he's a grown man at this point, and they can definitely tell him figure it out on your own. So yeah, don't know which way they'll swing. Don't know what his sponsorships look like and stuff. I know it hasn't been the year he was hoping for and the year we were expecting out of him, but still, like you said, consistent enough to be P2, tied for P2 overall at the end of the year. So not a bad year, just not the year we saw from Hunter.
Well, we're used to seeing better consistency. I mean, when he's got 10ths, 9ths, but then he's got some 4ths, where he had 3 4ths throughout the year and 2 wins. He's only gotten 3 podiums out of this year, and usually he's more of a consistent podium guy. Walker is still close enough with some 2 dominant races, can still bounce himself back into second in points because he's only 3 points behind him. So Walker's not out of it, depending on what he does the next 2 rounds. And remember, there is no drops. So
you can't drop that goose egg, Walker. Yeah, you got to eat that one.
Well, yeah, he's got 2 goose eggs and a 14, and he's still that far up in points. That means he's done well. He's got a couple victories and then a bunch of second places. So Walker's skill set could put him right back in there and make it so that he's doing well. The Phantom Cole Richardson didn't show up again. He did show up and pulled off a 7th at round 10, but we'll see where he is the next time. If he gets out to ride, I think he wants to go back to Pondezvous again because he loved that kind of racing and really enjoyed himself.
Yeah, no, I think Cole could have pace anywhere with 4 wheels in the motor. He's going to go fast.
Wyatt Wilkins seems to have a pretty consistent 4th through 3rd, bouncing around in there, but he has had a couple bad rounds, which has kept him out of that top 4 in points. Stephen Harrell, same thing. He's always bouncing around that 5 to 7 spot with a couple lower finishes. If he could get a little more consistency in there, he could do better. Sheridan, he showed some pizzazz, and then it kind of went away. So we don't know what's going on with him as he's working his way through, some of his issues as well.
Yeah. Jay Shad, had a couple really good rides earlier in the year, getting on the podium. And I just think it just, the dust just didn't go his way. It was really hard to pass. Chris Borch got 5th. Junior rode 6th, and Harrell and Jay Shad, I think it wasn't for the dust like we were talking about. I think they both would have been able to march their way forward, battling into the top 5. But that dust was just rough, and Junior was putting down a good pace.
Yeah, I mean, they got to race the elements. Dust is just another one of those gnarly deals. So if you can't see in the mud, these guys seem to be doing okay because they're used to it.
It's a different type of cancer. You just got to duck a lot more. It's not okay, let me come to a stop in the straightaway because I can't see anything.
Right. It's not like the guys in the desert that, you just hold on, count to whatever, and then roll out of it. But usually by then the dust is clears and you're good. If it doesn't and there's a turn, you're in deep trouble. That happens as well.
Yeah, no, calculated risk calculated risk out here.
Right. It's pretty awesome. These guys are super talented. So let's just, talk about the next round coming up. It's the Penton. Great course, going to be rough. And how do you see that breaking down with titles already won and already given? Do you think that's going to change the competitive nature in the classes?
It takes the weight off the shoulder of the guy that won the championship, and makes everybody else is still racing for their spots for the most part, right? Like, just because the championship is locked up doesn't mean that second and XC1 or for that number 2 plate's locked up. There's still a lot to be raced for the rest of the year. So I think the champion's the only one with any weight off his shoulders for a lot of classes.
Right. I agree. You know, I think in the XC2 class or the WXC class, they're still racing for second. They're still racing for second, third, fourth. Here in XC1, XC2 hasn't been clinched, and you know the kids race. I'm sure there's other classes that are going to come down to the wire, but man, I think XC is the most exciting, most competitive racing in America right at the moment, and it seems to be growing. I know the pro class isn't as consistent as we'd like it to be, but I'm here looking at the results, and you have 15 pros that are there consistently all the time, with two more, maybe three more that come in and ride sporadically. So you have almost 20 guys in the pro class, which is very competitive. I don't even know how many are in the XC2 class. That just goes off the page. So you're probably into the 30s with that many riders. Will that many transfer over? I know that Alex is going. Other than that, I don't know who if any else will go.
Yeah, it is such a rare batch of individuals that get to race in the XC1 class. Like it's tough to just get to the place where you feel like you belong and feel like, you know, be one of the guys. It's tough. XC2 seems like a good group of guys can get to the XC2 class, and it really separates the strong from the weak, you know.
Right. I understand.
Yeah,
well,
it's tough, man. Yeah, I'd say a couple riders every, you know, a group of riders that move up and through together. You'll have like a group of 4 or 5 riders that kind of moved up together and they all battled together. And there's just a couple that kind of stand up and separate. Like I grew up racing with Hunter Hart, and, you know, we had Zach Jones and Wesley Wolf was with us. And there's a couple of really high profile names. And it seems like me and Hunter out of that group were the only ones that really made that next step. You know, right. Wesley Wolf did as well, but he's gone to the moto side. But, you know, there was the 3 of us out of a group of like 12 riders that pretty much moved up through the A classes and everything together.
And I wonder what Wesley would be doing in the XC class if he would have stayed.
Yeah, if there was more support in the sports where he could have gotten a ride on both sides, like the sky's the limit. The kid's got so much bike talent. Like that, the schoolboy classes, you know, where I got my 201 plate and everything, and we had some really intense, really good battles. I think we would have been we would still be battling to this day if we were both on sport bikes. Yeah,
he's a unique guy. He's super nice, kind of funny when you talk to him, and you know, lays it out in the line. I feel bad for him because he's injured, and I don't think we'll see him back.
We'll see. It's hard to get it out of you. I don't know how. You know, you've seen the injury, but I don't know how bad the wreck was from his point of view. But he's a pretty lighthearted guy. We'll see if he bounces back up from it or not.
From what I'm hearing, he's out of work.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have some recovery time. Like it's going to be a couple months before he can do anything. I don't know if he can play Xbox right now, really.
Yeah, I mean, one of the phrases that I got from a post that I read, and then I was told verbally the same thing, is that the doctor told him that the doctors can't believe that he can walk.
Yeah, and then you know, so everybody's got
for all practical purposes, he shouldn't be able to walk. So that might be the bell toll for him that says I'm out.
Yeah, and getting that near miss, you know, scares a lot of people away. But I think at the same time, we all know that is a risk when we put on that helmet. So I think some of us have to experience it. But I've had some really nasty ones. I had one where I couldn't get out of bed for over a month. Yeah, and I know it's part of the risk.
Yeah, I had a head injury, and you know, I mean, I still have effects from it from, you know, 25 years ago. So I get it, totally get it, you know. But as always, Cody, I want to thank you so much for your input and your time, and your patience today with me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll get this thing posted as soon as possible, and I will catch up with you for the next one. And thank you so much for your time, brother.